I would like to warmly welcome you all to this awareness workshop and National Forum on the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, organized collaboratively with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism. The forum is part of the process of creating awareness, building national consensus, promoting robust national conversation, illuminating gray areas, and ensuring that Malawi engages and be part of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which has since gone into effect with about 27 ratifications currently. This is the second sensitization workshop that we are organizing in Malawi. The first was organized on the 17th, 2 days ago, and this is the second. We thought it's extremely important to have the conversation at two locations in Malawi, Blantyre and Lilongwe. As you are all aware, a momentous and historic event took place on the 21st March 2018 in Kigali, Rwanda, when over 40 African countries gathered together to launch and sign the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. This was a major step towards creating a borderless free trade zone in Africa, as envisaged by the Abuja Treaty of 1991, establishing the African Economic Community. The CFTA has since secured the required number of ratifications, which is 22, and has since gone into effect on the 30th May 2019. The CFTA is one of the flagship projects of Agenda 2063 of the African Union, especially its 10-year implementation plan, which seeks to promote inclusive and sustained economic growth and accelerated economic development and integration in Africa. The CFTA also sits in tandem with key goals of Agenda 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals. These include goal number 1, which is about ending poverty, goal number 2, which is about zero hunger, goal number 8, which is about decent work and economic growth, goal number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure, and goal number 10, reduced inequalities, and goal number 12, responsible production and consumption. Hence, the CFTA is a win-win situation for the regional and global commitments of Malawi. The CFTA is set to create the biggest free trade area in the world, with a market of more than 1.2 billion people and a combined GDP of more than $2.5 trillion. The CFTA has immense opportunities for increasing intra-Africa trade, enhancing production, promoting economies of scale, creating jobs, raising incomes, and improving the living standards of the African people. Studies suggest that if successful, Africa's manufacturing sector will double in size, with annual output increasing from $500 billion in 2015 to $1 trillion in 2025, and contributing about 14 million stable, well-paid jobs. However, the CFTA has to be backed up by increased productivity, enhanced regional value chains, and removing internal obstacles to the growth of SMEs so that African countries can compete well in a liberalized regional market. The CFTA will complement the government's efforts at diversifying the economy, promoting manufacturing, and stimulating agricultural production with increased and expanded market, which will offer great opportunities for agro-processing as well in Malawi. Ratifying and implementing the CFTA will require securing consensus from a broad spectrum of stakeholders: the private sector, the government, the civil society, academics, women, and youth organizations. Building a powerful national constituency in support of the CFTA is imperative for it to be owned and implemented by the people after the government will have ratified it. I'm sure there are fears and concerns on the issue of ratifying the CFTA. Some of those fears could include the fear of competitiveness, especially of local industries in a much liberalized market, the issue of jobs associated with it, government revenue, etc. Those fears are more perceived than real, and this platform should offer us a unique opportunity to dispel those fears, raise issues, make clarifications, and come to a common but better informed understanding on why we should be part of the African Continental Free Trade Area process. The CFTA is a moving train that requires all African countries to come on board. It is a train that will strengthen Africa's voice, capacity, and space in the international and economic environment. It could shift the balance on the logic of comparative advantage to competitive advantage for many African countries. It is important to note that the CFTA agreement is not self-executing. It requires African countries, including Malawi, to deploy deliberate strategies towards ensuring that the private sector, as key stakeholder in production and trade, is primed to exploit a larger market and product opportunities offered by the CFTA with reduced tariff and non-tariff barriers. It is imperative to, among others, address supply-side constraints limiting the productive capacity of industry to stimulate competitiveness and growth. Coherence between the national industrial policy and trade promotion initiatives is extremely important. Key reforms required to ensure that industrialization, investment, and trade generate optimum benefits for Malawi under a larger market, including the areas of trade facilitation, infrastructure development, doing business reforms to create a better conducive environment for the private sector, product quality and standards, and general policy environment, its consistency, clarity, and stability to facilitate the evolution of a competitive industrial sector able to capture opportunities arising from a borderless trade continent. Let me assure you of ECA's continued technical support working with the African Union Commission in assisting Malawi in the process of strategizing to benefit maximally from the CFTA through developing a national strategy on the CFTA. We are currently doing so for Zambia and Zimbabwe, and we are prepared to do so for Malawi. The ECA, through the UN system in Malawi, will also continue to support the government of Malawi in its economic transformation and development agenda. Malawi is one of the priority focus countries for ECA in Southern Africa. We are willing and prepared to support the government and the people of Malawi in their economic development process. In closing, I would like to thank the staff of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism and colleagues from the ECA for their tireless efforts in putting this forum together. Also, I would like to thank the European Union for their commitment and support for the CFTA process. We are indeed very grateful. I would like to urge the government of the Republic of Malawi to consider ratifying the CFTA agreement like sister countries in the region, like South Africa, Eswatini, Namibia, and Zimbabwe have done. There is a lot to gain and opportunities to explore in being part of the CFTA initiative. Whatever our concerns and fears are, this forum should provide an excellent opportunity to address and find solutions and key recommendations to those concerns and fears. I wish us successful deliberations and thank you all for your kind attention.